but we usually do it in reverse order right after right. So this is kind of one of the maps that ended and decided first and second place was Gen.G versus Tempest.
Yeah.
And it's a tough match, and you normally would like to see it at the end, right? But Eastern Clash was less than a week ago.
Yeah.
Literally less than a week ago. So after Gen.G dominated there, like, could we really expect things to have changed that much in such a brief period of time? Like, the answer is no, right?
Yeah.
So that's unfortunately the reality of where we are. Tomb is a map where early game heroes, or early game CC, I should say, heroes that can put that off are going to be so powerful. This might be where we see an earlier Maiev ban.
We'll have to see about that. I don't know why at the bottom they're showing Sonya here, but the Thrall ban coming in.
Yeah.
They're gonna match with Gen.G.
Gen.G, so it just continues. Diablo ban, probably, you know, and then we see the white main ban. Oh, Deckard, so changing it up.
All right, Tempest decides. All right, both sides had a little bit of fun with Deckard.
So now they have to choose between Diablo and white main. Which one are they more comfortable facing? I'd say let white main through. Nope, they say otherwise.
I guess in this top tier team, they know white main is still OP, and as we expected, Diablo being alive gets taken right away.
Oh, they're so ready. They insta-lock Malf, Raynor.
They already knew. Like, if this ban came through this way, they knew Tempest was going to take the Diablo. They knew they were ready.
So Tempest is building their whole draft around killing people in the early game.
Yep.
So,
wow.
This is like the most all-in draft ever. We talked about Maiev potentially being banned, but left open. Tempest got the Diablo, the Maiev, the Junkrat. Good combos post 10 as well. But
we're gonna see some heroes on the side of Gen.G kind of on a roller coaster. Get thrown by Diablo, gets pulled by Maiev, gets thrown by Junkrat again. So we're gonna see a lot of that here in this early game.
Alex Ross synergizes with this style well.
Yeah.
Their positional-based healing, when you're all fighting on one zone anyways, it works very well. She has a huge healing output if you're able to stand where she does heal. So it's a pretty reasonable ban here. For Tempest, I'd be looking for just a strong Garrosh ban that we've seen a lot tonight. Garrosh can disrupt a lot of what Tempest is trying to do, and then when they're diving deep or trying to get those finishing last hits to kill people, Garrosh can toss you into a cannon tower and ruin everything.
Definitely they're going to get rid of that because of that.
He's also very difficult to kill because of his armor anyways with this type of composition.
See the picks coming through. See, Phoenix and Blaze. All right, so I guess we're going to try to keep whoever alive that gets thrown around by these three heroes on the side of Tempest with the bunker. We'll see if that's possible, or will Tempest get the early lead, like you said, Wolf, and just take this lead all the way through?
It's very difficult, even though the Tempest's comp has a lot of CC.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to catch a Phoenix in warp with these heroes. It is possible with all three, but again, a very challenging endeavor. Like, this could not be more all-in on, like, just blow up. Silence in the Warden's Cage, silence for the early game rotation kills, the Auric for Entomb, like...
Wow.
This comp screams like, okay, like, what if we had all these 5 heroes? Like, imagine what we could do with a combo. But if that doesn't work, and if the early game doesn't snowball, Gen.G like is better than them in every way, and they have the Tyrael. So as long as in those team fights the sync goes off,
that actually might, like you said, the early game is definitely on the side of Tempest just regarding the picks here as we see here. But if they don't take that advantage away from Gen.G early game, that's going to slowly, as the game prolongs, Gen.G is just going to come back.
You're right, and it becomes a losing tug of war where eventually you've lost steam and things start to fall away from you when this comp is so predictable. Like, we've seen comps exactly like this, minus the Diablo. Usually it was in Nubrok in these types of situations. We've seen so many of these. As soon as Maev's release, when she got nerfed a few times and she would be finally picked, when sometimes we would see other bans instead, That's when we saw this composition a lot that Tempest is running on this particular map.
Yeah.
But people figured out how to play against it. Now it's almost never seen at this level of play. And it just feels like desperation building this comp.
Well, desperation and an all-in, like you said, but we do get that pause coming in.
Little pause here, yeah. It was rich, so
Yeah.
I'm going to find out what the issue is.
Let you guys know if there's any big problems going on here, or if it's just a quick pause.
Looks like it might have been just a quick confirmation on something in-game. Might have been a mount thing or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because like it looked like a ref coming over rather than.
Oh, okay. So we reset actually.
He got kicked
Yeah.
from the game.
Got kicked. Play a 5v4. Is what he
So he
wants.
should easily be able to rejoin. Worst case scenario, we just make a custom game with the same heroes. It's pretty easy to remedy this problem. Luckily, it's not a hardware issue or anything like that. Assuming that his PC doesn't have connection problems the second time we make a game.
All right. I'm assuming that this problem, quote unquote, Rich getting kicked, will be resolved quickly, and it will not come to our faces.
I think it's coming to our faces.
You think so? Because when it comes to our faces, that's usually when it takes a little bit longer to fix the problems.
Yeah, I think it's just going to take a little bit of time to make this remake the lobby, but you know, you and I, we got makeup today. It's all right. We can be on camera. It does get a little bit. I love filling time when my face isn't on camera because I can kind of like rest my head on my hand here. I can like lean a little bit. I don't have to sit up straight. I can sit back in my chair. You know, I can
do whatever. Pick your nose.
I could pick my nose at the same time as talking. Sure, I could lay across the desk. You know, there's a lot of things I can do. But when I'm on camera, there's like these rules, man. I can't do these things. That's broadcast talent, man. We're not allowed to do those things. Here we are. Oh no, I thought it was gonna be us, but it's game. Yeah.
We are in game. No, the moment that the sign came up, we're like, oop, to sit up straight.
Yeah. As soon as you see that stinger, man,
Yeah.
you know there's a chance we're going on camera. Not today.
Not today.
Oh man, all the Junkrat shots dodged here. Gen.G with an incredible win rate on this map, 11-1. And they didn't even stagger the minions. They didn't actually even like delay the minions here. They're just confident, man. Look at the counter engage here on the side. He might die. He's got no souls.
Diablo, this is level 1 Diablo. No souls, no nothing. Just gets picked off.
They just counter engaged with the charge. Tyrael hasn't even locked in level 1.
Yeah.
Just not interested, man.
Oh, question mark is fine.
Talents he knows those that got raw skill.
Yeah. You don't need to put talents in. You still have all the skills. Let's see how Good does with Junkrat this time around. He definitely was getting punished when he was on the lead by the Junkrat, so we'll have to see how this plays out.
They don't even, in the reworked Heroes of the Storm cannon towers that happened with the big changes, gameplay changes. Oh man, lockdown. He is very likely dead.
Yep.
Moonfire and everything else, there's just no way out of here. Oh, like because there's no ammo for cannon towers anymore is basically what I'm trying to say. Like when they rotate and commit like this, like in the past when something like this happens to the wave, you lose a lot of ammo, so there is a small trade-off. But after the gameplay changes for 2018, like there's no ammo anymore, so you just kind of like go, okay, well we'll rotate over. Cannon towers buy time, and we lost a little bit of hit points, but it's like nothing compared to the kills we got. Don't lose any experience. Don't lose any ammo. Gen.G's just dominating this early game, which is the opposite of what Tempest's game plan was on this map.
Yeah, the early advantages, not too much because it was so early, but the Diablo charging in there.
I mean, Rich just like knocked him back. So.
Tempest is actually playing it super aggressive as they should, but in the early game we get that 2 deaths coming in from Tempest, so they have to make something out of the early game picks that they went for.
They have I mean, split off in the lanes now finally, but their wave clear, their wave clear is okay.
Yeah.
But it pales in comparison to Gen.G's, unfortunately. Like the Junkrat and Stukov clear a wave like so fast, and obviously in solo, Leoric does decent, but Sign's caught. He went up too far. Again, he's died now twice, and that means he's not getting any souls that you passively gain from being in lane.
Exactly.
In fact, Tommy's going to die as well. Lockdown, not even sure why he's committing to this fight. He needs to back off. Every second that Diablo spends not in lane costs him health.
Yeah, exactly. And you see Blaze at mid lane just comfortably just soaking up experience by himself. Yeah. You know, this is just the snowball. It's not supposed to happen this early for Gen.G, but Tempest just diving in, especially Sign. I don't know if it's just a communication error here. Sign diving in onto Raynor is okay, but there's no follow-up coming in from his teammates.
And the follow-up for Gen.G is to root him and charge him with the stun coming through from Blaze. Like, so Coach is just there to pick up the pieces. This is the kind of play that you expect, right?
Yeah.
The attempted grab there, the tethers. But when these things fail, Gen.G has a comp that can counter-engage.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be a pick onto Lockdown this time, but they could force him away, make him respect Gen.G's positioning here. Sign just going to try to fire stomp here. In fact, turns away.
Yep, to the other side.
This is Gen.G going to get the first turn in. Oh my god, if Good died there, what a tragedy that would be. Rich gets caught, but he should have his Q in just a second. He's just going to turn around. Zdami, uh-oh.
He doesn't care, he's just going to do the damage.
Stukov's silence doesn't really buy them all that much. And there's the turn-in.
Alright, the first turn-in goes to Gen.G, and you know, it's very unfortunate for Tempest. Gen.G already has the lead. They get the first turn-in. This is not looking great. The level difference, the gap will be larger now.
Speaking of gaps, man, we were talking about when will the gap between first and second in Korea close, and there were Tempest won, you know, a series against Gen.G last split, but that was it, you know, and like
that was a long time ago.
That was last phase, I should say, and since then, like, I don't know when that gap's gonna close.
Yeah, because in the Eastern Clash, we saw Ballistics trying to contest Gen.G. They lost 4-0.
And Gen.G in mid-season brawl as well. Just no Korean team could touch them. It was an exciting series between Gen.G and Ballistics in Sweden, but there are only so many teams that can even go even with Gen.G in Korea, like, and not just get totally crushed. And Tempest had that for game one, but I mean, it almost feels like I don't even want to talk about what's occurring in this game anymore, because we actually need to talk about the storyline here. Like, this is Seed 1 versus Seed 2.
And
both of them with one loss
out,
only. They're like so close in the standings. And Gen.G is just like, this is a walkover win right now in this map.
Exactly.
The comp of Tempest they built was all in. It didn't work. So guess what? This game is basically over. In order to get 10, Tempest is going to have to just sit back and soak, which gives Gen.G full reign over the map. If they try to contest any objectives without 10, they will like literally lose the game in that moment. So Tempest has to basically just give control of the map. That's why the neutral camp goes over. You can see in the top lane, Maiev is making sure that they're not going to try to make a boss rotation, because that's something that Gen.G could potentially do here with the 10 advantage they have.
Maybe they may not commit to the boss fight, but they may just kind of force Tempest to come up before they hit 10, but it seems like they're not going to do that here.
I mean, just talk about a quick double turn. It's 7 minutes in, and they're going to look for this.
They definitely are, and they do get it.
It's insane.
Yeah. It's like back-to-back turn-ins right away.
You know, when I cast with Artosis in 2015 or 2015 and 2016, when Gen.G, then known as MP Blackroll, on the win streak, hold that thought. I have a good point to make, but Sign might die first.
Actually charges to Gyocha. Tries to live, but not gonna happen here.
Still hasn't finished his quest.
Yeah. Well, it's only 7 minutes in. and he's probably died at least 3 times that we saw on screen.
Yeah, those were the 3 deaths of the 5.
Yeah. Here we go. They're going to just keep pushing. We see the mid and the top just getting pushed out. Top just really getting opened up.
When I cast with Artosis in 2016, he said, "There'll never be a team as dominant as what MVP Black was in 2016 spring." And there was never another team, but it's MVP Black again, and it's right now as Gen.G. Like, talk about untouchable. Phoenix taken out here, first kill for Tempest finally, but it's not a trade in their favor as Junkrat's down. That means that they've got no way to win this longer fight. Dami just in the backline there on the Maiev. Bunker keeps everyone alive. Rich is pushing forward. This is it, man. This is what the best team in the world looks like right now, and Dignitas looks on, hoping for revenge from Midseason Brawl. They were so close. But no team but Dignitas has even come close to scratching the surface as... I know there's someone right now writing on the internet, I cannot believe that this commentator would say that this game is over and that Gen.G has won it when we're only 8 minutes and 51 seconds of the game and all 3 keeps are up. I want to see a world where Tempest makes something happen here. They're going to try to get a turn in. I want to see
a comeback.
This comp happen where it's like already past its peak. We're post 10, so it's already... What their comp was designed to do has already failed. Like, I want to see Tempest have the greatest comeback of like our sport here. Here's the Storm. Like, let's see. Because it was a risky comp, and Gen.G has totally crushed it now. Dami needs to get out of here.
We'll get out and...
He actually goes in.
Okay, let's go in.
Drops the disc. Trying to turn this into a 5v4, but unfortunately, Lockdown's just coming back.
Stay with the boss here. It's not looking great for Tempest at all. Gen.G just backs off casually.
Riptire here is like probably going to time out. Not actually. Well, just blown up instead.
At this turn, it just kind of wait. Well, this is the best Tempest could have done here.
I mean, it does end up. It does end up. You know, I guess relieving the pressure, and it does mean that if they ever got wiped, they wouldn't lose all their gems. But they in fact lost experience from this web weaver push because they didn't get any structures, and you don't get experience from the web weaver. So no one was in lane getting all the experience for the waves they pushed. So that's why they're still down 3 levels. It's rough, man.
Definitely is, and like you said before, Tempest, if they couldn't do anything, you know, the first 10 minutes, they're not gonna be able to do anything to Gen.G, and you know, Gen.G was just stomping on them even early game. They exactly knew what to do against this team. Oh, you know, just Rich casually just walks out. It's like, all right.
Oh, that Entomb was trying to, he tried to use it to save himself, but it's a failing there. The thing about Gen.G's comp is there's not a lot of heroes that are super vulnerable to what they're doing, and the ones that were, like Malfurion, for example, were just always in the right spot. Aldruin's Might can allow Tyrael to escape from Tether, for example. Warp, like I was talking about in draft for Phoenix, makes it difficult to execute this. This was more popular before Phoenix's release. This is when Maiev was released. This is the comp that was on this map on Maiev release patch. And one of the scary things about Maiev after her nerfs, where she was still seeing some play, was this kind of style, but it's been figured out at this point. This is outdated.
This definitely is, and it's not going to work out, especially against a team like Gen.G here. Once again, lockdown, focus down.
Sign is going to be the next to fall. I mean,
the Riptire.
Disc buys some time for the escape.
That's all it does. He's going to go in and pull in reset, but
it's going to cost him his life.
That was definitely unnecessary.
You could see how much damage when you have no blinds as well. Like, reset and Rich on Rain or Phoenix, it's so much damage, and every time the crit connects for Rich on the Rainer, like every 4th shot, like just blows them up. Like, it's just massive damage. He's been using his Q to knock away targets that would dive him, that would try to affect him. He used it to knock the Riptire away just earlier. Look at this. No fear. Good down to a 3rd health in just seconds. He's got the shields from Tyrael. He's got his best friend, the Banshee.
There we go. The spiders do come down here. It's not looking great on the side of Tempest here. They're gonna Gen.G is just going to keep pressuring them. They have nothing to lose here. Get this keep down. Salvo gets signed at the end. Tommy has to run home. The Tomb's not going to do much here. They're just going to stay in there and do damage. Put the bunker down as well.
Yep. Tommy gonna get blown up. Yep. This game is unfortunately just not competitive. Tempest 4 levels down against Gen.G. Seed 1 against Seed 2. Wins the Tomb of the Spider Queen map in 13 minutes with 13 kills to 1. Composition problems on the side of Tempest. Gen.G gonna close the series out with a 3-0. Not even close.
Yeah.
And this is like the comp that Tempest tried to use is so all in. It's like when you 6-pool in StarCraft, and when your lings get there, there's already a bunker.
Yeah.
You know you've lost the game. It's like that. It's like when you try to, I don't know, open a bank account, but you didn't bring your ID. Guess what? You're not opening a bank account. You got to go home. Okay. This is like they ran the tools to control the early game. They were crushed in the early game.
Yeah.
And then after that, their comp didn't have a theme. There was no glue to hold it together. It was just going to be a bad time. 5 deaths on Sign.
Yep, 5 deaths, and the observer actually was able to catch, I think, at least 4 of the deaths where we saw Sign just rush in there, and he was actually taking the initiative to try to make a play to create an opportunity for his team, especially with this comp, like you said. They went all in, and there was no follow-up. Gen.G, they were ready for Sign to come in as Diablo, and they were able to counter it.
He was so abused this game just because he has to engage hard in order to make a big impact in the early game, and he was just shut down. If you look at his tank damage, 45k, if you put Kyocha's tank damage and Tist's together, it's only just above how much damage he took. Like, basically about 5k less is what he took, so he was just the punching bag this game. And not because it's Sign's fault or that Sign's a bad player. It's that this composition, if things go away from you, like,
that's what's going to happen.
They have gems to turn in. How are you going to engage the turn in? Your engage is Diablo charging in, but he doesn't have his stacks, so he's not tanky, so he gets caught, he gets blown up. Phoenix is warping away, Aldruin's is warping away when you're trying to use Tether to grab them. Gen.G just saw this and we're like, well, this is like something from 2 months ago. I guess we just play like we did back then. We have stronger heroes in the meta. We have Phoenix. You have no blinds. We have insane auto attack damage. It's just, I don't know. This game for me was really disappointing because I thought we were going to see Tempest like control the early game and then maybe Gen.G would start slowly fight their way back in. But it just, I mean,
I was also excited to see the composition that Tempest took because in the pick phase, we're like, all right, so they're going for this certain type of composition to make this happen. And we're in our heads, we're like, all right, that actually might work out in the early game. And Gen.G may have to stall time to come back in the late game. But that definitely did not happen, as you guys saw here. The #1 seed team, Gen.G just dominated them from the start and just gave no room for Tempest to breathe.
It's just disappointing, I think, because for Tempest, they were clearly mentally broken by that third game. Gen.G picked the map, by the way, so it wasn't like Tempest tried to pick this map and then try to sneak this strategy in. They adapted to the map pick. But it just feels like instead of trying to play a more meta composition and try to go like head-to-head against Gen.G, they basically tried to cheese them. And I think, even though this isn't really a cheese per se, the concept is very similar. I think that for Tempest here, this is like if you're a Tempest fan, you're like, oh god, like they already gave up in this series. Does that mean we'll always be #2? Does that mean that Gen.G is always going to be ahead of us? Does that mean that like there's no hope for Tempest winning BlizzCon? I think for a lot of people, they're wondering that, and it feels bad to be a Tempest fan in this moment because that last game wasn't even really a game. Whereas when they played more meta comps in the first 2 maps, at least it was a lot more competitive. So I mean, we're going to hear from one of the Gen.G players in a moment. We're going to get some insights here, but
it definitely did not look good.
The question we had, going into this series is like, does Gen.G have any weak points? Did Tempest in this 1 week they had find anything? And sadly, the answer is they need more time. This week was not enough.
Yeah, 1 week is definitely not enough. And, like we mentioned over and over, Ballistics had a chance, not happening. Tempest had a chance today in the first day of the second part, phase 2, not happening. So a little bit more time, maybe things will change. But we were talking about that big gap from the first seed and the rest of the team, even with the second seed here on Tempest. The gap we saw, like you said, the first 2 games they went head to head with the Metacomp. You say that they had a small chance, they had a chance, they had opportunities to come back, but at the end of the day, Gen.G just dominated over Tempest in all 3 games, and there wasn't a point where we thought, oh, maybe Gen.G's gonna lose.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I mean, let's break down some of these highlights as we see some really nice counter engages here. The bunker was so well placed to counter the arrow. Look at Sake's positioning. Throughout this entire game on Deckard, he just made the DPSs irrelevant. And, despite some really nice setups, actually, for Tempest, like, they had some really good fights. Sake just was limiting what the DPS could do as move into Cursed Hollow. There was some teamfight wins here for Tempest for sure.
Yeah.
Dami gets caught here. The arrow flank for Rich they didn't account for. That's why this fight just ends up being one of the more one-sided ones. So not actually not the one to look at.
They're just gonna skip over the team fights where Tempest won and to show that Gen.G is just dominating over Tempest here. But it's, in the first game, it was closer, I guess. Now that I got reminded of the replays, but still, the gap is still too huge.
This is not safe for work. If you have any children with you, I would recommend, maybe, I don't know, opening up some like happy VODs of like 2017 HGC or something. But as you can see, Sign is just abused here because when he goes in, there's no way out. Another moment where Lockdown is just caught. There's insane burst damage in this comp with the 2 auto attackers, Phoenix and Raynor. And like this Riptire is like, was there a Riptire there? Like I forgot. It's blown up so quick. So we're gonna talk to Rich.
Alright.
Surprise, surprise.
상대로 승리한 젠지 팀의 리치 선수와 인터뷰 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
Interview with Rich. Congrats.
Congratulations,
네,
yeah.
이스턴 클래시 우승한 다음에 쉴 틈 없었을 텐데
So,
오늘 일단 승리 소감 또 안
you
들어볼 수
won
없겠죠?
Eastern Clash. You didn't even have a break. Now you win again today. How do you feel?
생각보다 쉽게 이겨가지고
Right,
다행이라고 생각해요.
Yeah, after the Eastern Clash,
이번 주는 좀
we
마음 놓고
won
연습할 수 있지
a 3-0, so I feel good
그럼
about
저번
the
주는
quick
조금
games.
마음이 약간
Didn't get us tired.
불편했었어요?
안 그래도 이스턴 클래시 끝나고 휴식을 취하지 못하고 바로 연습을
So,
시작했기
how did you
때문에
feel coming in after the
피곤함이
Eastern
아직
Clash
쌓여있는
with just
상태고
1 week of break? Are you not
그랬던 것
fatigued?
같아요.
He said basically we didn't take a break. We
오늘
practiced the
이제
entire
경기
time.
전에
So
상대팀 템페스트 포지션 변경한 거 좀 알고 계셨나요?
so did you know Tempest would be changing their
그냥
position?
얼핏 듣긴 했어요.
Yeah, we roughly
사케
heard.
형이 사케 형이
네.
락다운 형이 이제 영리에서
네.
이들이랑 대학까지
Yeah,
연습하더라고
in
말했는데
Hero League,
설마
we heard
싶었는데
that
진짜
Lockdown was playing
바꿨더라고요.
different positions, so we
잘
kind of could have
바꾼 것
assumed
같기도
that
하고
the
잘은
position
모르겠어요,
swaps would
아직은.
be happening.
그거에 대해서
Yeah.
좀 의식되지 않았나요? 약간?
네, 뭐
Did you kind of
의식되진
did it
않았어요.
bother you or kind of
경기
make
얘기도
you
안 할
guys
수가
prepare a little bit
없죠.
more
제가
because of that?
생각하는
But
MVP
he says that
장면은
it
아무래도
did not
2세트에
really
저지받은
get to us.
물자기에서 13렙 싸움이었어요. 그때 이제 곡물 싸움 앞두고 한 조로 3인궁 맞추면서 또 정크랩 궁이 받쳐주고 이래서 대박이 났던 한타였는데 왜냐면 그 한타가 핵각을 보게 했잖아요. 그때 서로 간에 어떤 이야기를 하고 이제 궁을
So what were
연계를
you guys
시켰던
talking
건가요?
about during like some of the
딱히
ultimates that were coming out
연계라고
at you, like the
생각하진
Riptire, the
않았고
Hanzo 3
그냥
man
TT
hit?
형이 피닉스 전멸을 끊어가지고 이미 이긴 한타에서 궁으로 도와줬을 뿐이고 TT 형이 잘했던 것 같아요.
Alright, so he says most of the team fights that went on, we just had the advantage even though they were initiating. So, we weren't too afraid of the multiple stuns and the multiple area damage coming in because we knew we already had the team fight down from the start.
Yep.
매번 한타에서 항상 이길 각을 잘 만드는 것 같아요.
So you
근데
guys
중요
kind of set up all
딜러잖아요,
the
리치
fights to win.
선수가. 매번마다 어떻게 그렇게 각을 잘 보시는 이유가 있나요?
What's the reason why you're
초반에
able to
지는
make
게
this happen so
저희가
consistently?
실수한 게 아니라 그냥 초반에 지는 조합이라 그런 거고 레이너는 항상 후반에 힘을 발하는
So,
딜러기 때문에
in the first
후반을
game,
이기는
it's
거라고
not because
생각해요.
we were getting forced or
그게 뭐
we
딱히
made mistakes
실력의
that we were
차이보다
kind of
픽의
getting
차이인 것
pushed
같아요.
back. It's just we need more time with
사실
Raynor
저는
on the
본인이
build
약간
and the
피지컬에
composition that
대한
we were trying
이야기를
to
좀
build
해주실
up.
줄 알았는데 왜냐면 눈이 크고 참 맑으시잖아요, 리치 선수가. 항상 요리조리 상대편 딜러를 잘 보시는 것 같더라고요. 네, 그리고 레이너로 이번 파트에선 좀 전 파트보단 안정적인 포지션 잡으시면서
So
오늘 좋은 경기 만드셨던 것
it looks
같은데요.
like you
혹시
played Raynor a lot better
아즈모단도
than
지금
part
패치가
1.
된
You've been
상황인데
playing in a more
이번
safe
파트
position.
끝나기 전에 안정적인 포지션에 리치 아즈모단 볼 수 있을까요?
So do you think that you could do something similar with Azmodan as well in
정말
part
쓰고
2,
싶지만
playing
안
safely?
그래도 한 번 더 하향을 받았기 때문에
네.
쓰기가 힘들 것 같아요.
I want to
이제 다시
personally
해볼
use
수
it more, but the
없는
nerves coming in. He thinks
알겠습니다.
personally that
아무래도
he
이번
won't be
파트는
taking
블리즈컨을 향해 달려가는
Azmodan
여정이
out.
될 것 같아요.
in this
상위권
part
팀이기
two.
때문에 그 자세에 한번 임하는 각오를 한마디 해주세요.
Last words?
이번 페이즈 2 파트 2가 이제
The name is
블리즈컨을
complicated.
가는 리그인데 블리즈컨을 가서
네.
가는 거는 그냥 간다고 치고 꼭 가가지고 우승을 할 수 있도록 열심히
So he said,
연습하겠습니다.
obviously, like
블리즈컨
the first goal is
우승을
BlizzCon. We
향해
want to win.
달려가겠다는
Do well in
말씀이시죠?
league to go to BlizzCon.
화이팅
Going to
하세요.
BlizzCon is just,
오늘
you know,
인터뷰 너무너무
going to BlizzCon
감사합니다.
is going to BlizzCon, but winning
네,
BlizzCon
오늘
is what
인터뷰 여기서
their
마치도록
goal is.
하겠고요. 그럼 중계진 나와주세요.